All right, let's get right into this. We're going to unpack a pretty wild story. It involves a dramatic military raid, a captured president, and a weapon that, at first glance, seems to defy all explanation. We're looking at a controversial U.S. operation in Venezuela and the powerful mystery it left behind.
It felt like an explosion inside my head. Just imagine hearing that. This was the testimony from a security guard back on January 3, 2026, right in the middle of a U.S. operation to capture Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro. Now, the mission itself was a success, but the way it was carried out, well, that sparked a global firestorm of speculation.
So right away, the suspicion landed on something really strange, something almost out of science fiction, a sonic weapon. I mean, the guard story didn't sound like a normal gun or a bomb. It led a lot of people to think a brand new class of weapon had just been used for the first time.
And this stuff isn't just make-believe. Sonic weapons are very real devices that use sound to hurt or disable someone. You've probably heard of the LRAD, the long-range acoustic device. It's a real-world example they use for crowd control. It can create this incredibly painful, focused beam of sound. But the big question is, could it really cause the kind of awful internal damage that guard described?
This whole sonic weapon idea actually falls under a much broader category called directed energy weapons, or DES for short. As you can see, these are weapons that hit their targets with focused energy. We're talking lasers, microwaves, that kind of thing, instead of a physical bullet or missile. And this right here is exactly why militaries all over the world are so fascinated by them. You're basically swapping out physical projectiles for pure energy. Just think about it. A weapon that hits its target at the speed of light has a practically bottomless magazine as long as it has power and costs way less per shot. That's the dream they're chasing.
You know, this whole incident probably sounds a little familiar. It immediately made people think of that ongoing mystery of Havana syndrome, right? Where U.S. diplomats were reporting these bizarre sounds followed by terrible neurological problems, making a lot of experts suspect some kind of secret microwave weapon was involved.
Okay, so we've got the story, we've got the theories, but does the science actually back any of this up? Could a sonic weapon really cause those specific, gruesome symptoms? Let's fact-check these claims and really break down the evidence.
This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? The testimony is so vivid, so visceral, but does it actually match up with what we know these weapons can do? I mean, let's be blunt. Could a sound wave, no matter how powerful, literally make soldiers vomit blood? All right, check out this table. This is where the whole mystery starts to unravel. When you actually compare the symptoms to what different weapons do, the sonic weapon theory just falls apart. Acoustic weapons, like the LRAD, they cause extreme pain in your ears, but they just don't have the energy to cause internal injuries. Microwave weapons, they just heat your skin. But then you get to the bottom row. Blast overpressure, eardrum rupture, lung hemorrhage. It is a perfect match for the nosebleeds and vomiting blood from the testimony.
So it seems like the real culprit wasn't some futuristic ray gun at all. Instead, the evidence points to the devastating and often totally invisible effect of a powerful, conventional explosive. It's something called blast pressure.
And this is a very real medical condition called blast lung injury. See, when a powerful explosive goes off, it sends out this supersonic shock wave. It's like an invisible wall of pure pressure that just passes right through your body. It's especially brutal on air-filled organs, like your lungs, and it can cause massive internal bleeding without leaving a single mark on the outside. And when you look at the symptoms, vomiting blood, nosebleeds, disorientation, all with no external wounds, it's a carbon copy of the security guard's account. What they probably perceived as an intense sound wave was actually a physical shock wave. It could have come from a specialized explosive, maybe even a thermobaric weapon, which is designed specifically to maximize that deadly pressure effect. Okay, so this leads us to a whole new and honestly even more fascinating question. If it was probably a powerful explosive, why did the mystery sonic weapon story spread like wildfire? Well, this is where we step into the world of psychological operations, or POPs.
So, here's where the plot really thickens. Instead of correcting the story and saying what likely happens, the whole sensational account was actually amplified on social media by the White House press secretary at the time, Caroline Leavitt. Which begs the question, why would an official source push a story that science doesn't really support?
It's a classic PSOAP strategy, really. A kind of technological terror. The goal isn't just to win on the battlefield, it's to win inside your enemy's head. You make them believe you have some unseen, unbeatable technology. You make them afraid of what you might have. And you use that confusion, that ambiguity, as a weapon itself. You let their own imagination create a threat that's far scarier than reality.
So by simply sharing that terrifying, unconfirmed story, officials can build this powerful myth of American technological dominance. They never have to actually say, yes, we have this weapon. They just let the mystery do all the heavy lifting. They literally weaponize the story itself.
So, when you put this all together, what does this incident in Venezuela really tell us about what war might look like in the future?
I think this is the key takeaway, right here. The story about a weapon can be just as powerful, maybe even more powerful than the weapon itself. This is a perfect case study in what people call modern hybrid warfare. The lines between a physical fight and an information fight are getting blurrier every single day. The battle isn't just for a piece of land anymore, it's for the narrative.
And that leaves us with a final, really provocative question to think about. As we move forward, what's going to be more decisive in a conflict? Raw physical power or psychological terror? As technology and information get more and more tangled up, the real battlefield of the 21st century might not be a physical place at all, but the space right between our ears.